This is things you might not have heard. I am Jay Cleveland Payne, and I have for you today 8 stories queued up, ready to go from yesterday, the past day. Stories that are vetted. It's conversational about you and cover information, current events, pop culture, and politics news. Forgive me getting all choked up because I'm so excited because the news is dominated by one Donald J. Trump. Donald Trump is all over the place, fingerprints and pretty much all the stories, along with some Elon Musk and some Keisha Lance Bottoms, and they're attached to Trump as well. A bit of these things are carryovers from the weekend coming into stuff, but we have to explain things. It takes a while to get things out there, yada yada, blah blah blah. But you told us that these stories we're putting out here were worthy of chatting up, worthy of conversation, and we'll explain how that vetting process gets done in just a bit. But first, remind you that our website, this is conversationproject.com, is our home for all stuff Conversation Project. So go to there. We'll give you plenty of calls to actions to do once you get there. But check out our website and see what you can find out about us, including finding out about us. And the conversation inbox at gmail.com is, of course, our email address. Email me whenever you want to on comments, concerns, and all complaints can go there. Of course, you can comment in the videos, comment in the audios, comment where you are directly as well. But not said so yet. Today happens to be, by date, Wednesday, January 22nd, 2025. And on this queue, these 8 stories. No particular order as they're being presented, other than this seems to be the best narrative. Today, it's all kind of wrapped in on Trump stuff. So it's all over the place. As day two officially, or day one full day of President Trump's reign as 47 has begun. But before we got there, on day one, we had to clear up something from Elon Musk inside the parade, inside parade, if you will. Elon Musk was defended by the, of all places, the Anti Defamation League. With his Nazi salute, that was not a Nazi salute, just a weird gesture from a weird man, a weird billionaire man who was a bit excited about what was happening yesterday, or 2 days ago, I guess. During the inauguration on January 20th, Elon Musk made a gesture while he was on stage at the parade inside that looked like a Nazi salute. A lot of people said that looks like a Nazi salute. In fact, one commentator was like watching it and said, "Okay, that's weird." And then he listened to the reporters that were covering. Was like, "Oh well, that's interesting." And he's like, "Yeah, they think it's a Nazi salute." The ADL is calling it an awkward gesture made in a moment of enthusiasm, not intended to be a full fascist salute. Not the fact that he wasn't even thinking about those type of things, but Musk said that the claims that he was doing Nazi salutes and being fascist was a tired attack from the left, just people who were mad or whatever, and thank the ADL for their support. And despite the clarification from the ADL, they also said, yes, fascism exists. People are kind of bad about stuff. And so it's glad that people are kind of on edge and keep an eye out for those things. This one, not a true symbol of a fascist, not quite calling the symbol out, not quite rallying the troops. Just a weird gesture from a very weird guy who's a billionaire, so he gets away with being that weird. Now, some Trump stuff. Something happened later today, yesterday. We'll go to some stuff that happened earlier, but later in the day, a big deal happened with a $500 billion AI initiative, which is backed by Oracle, OpenAI, and SoftBank, three big companies who have lots of dollars and lots of manpower behind them, announced with Donald Trump a launch of something called the Stargate Project, which is a monumental artificial intelligence infrastructure for the United States. This joint venture opens up the world in the United States, specifically to the companies OpenAI, Oracle, and SoftBank, who are going to invest that $100 billion each, expanding to about $500 billion going forward in the next 4 years. And this is going to come into bringing AI up to speed, pun intended, here in the United States. Essentially, these are companies of people who have big ties to the States, and they want to make sure that China doesn't get ahead of the race of AI. So they're going to do their best to bring in jobs, bring in technology, building a data center. 4 data centers are coming, I believe. 2 are almost online in Texas. Large data centers to get this stuff done. Now that means a lot of power, a lot of people, a lot of things going on, and a whole lot of fighting against China. The CEOs of these companies stood behind a podium with President Donald Trump yesterday to announce what was happening and kind of go forth with their bit of tribute, if you will. I'm going to use that a lot going forward, with a lot of tribute going to things going towards Trumpian land. Now, this is not can say this because my standpoint, this is not a straight up pay for play, although these are people getting a little bit of government assistance, a little bit of government help, and a little bit of a higher profile for doing these things for the United States in general and for themselves as billionaire CEO types going forward. We'll see what happens with this initiative because we do need it, but we also will see what happens just because Donald Trump likes the attention, likes to say he wins stuff. This is a big one for him. What may not be such a big one for him was all those executive orders he signed on day one. He signed them in various places, various things all over the place. He signed a bunch yesterday as well for day two. But the official renaming of the Gulf of Mexico as Gulf America was an early one, and we're going to see how that actually works out. Because to aim America, honoring its American greatness, and to dignify the reflection, the Gulf significance to the United States and the economy, particularly in energy and commerce and tourism, Trump was like, "No, this doesn't belong to Mexico. They can't do much with it. It's America." Here's the problem. Trump doesn't actually create maps, and the United States doesn't create maps per se. This is a whole naming convention that goes along with many folks, many factors, many folks around the world going with it. Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida are, of course, adjacent to the Gulf, more us than them, but most of that land was belonged to other folks before. Now, the president of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum, responded by basically saying, "Yeah, it's a body of water. We're going to keep calling it Gulf of Mexico, and maybe we should call you guys Upper Mexico because you kind of are." And it's interesting because it's been called the Gulf of Mexico for 40 years before there was a Mexico itself that's named after a Indian tribe that was there, and before the United States was there, obviously as well. Um, the name was actually previously thrown out there in jest in 2010 after a large spill of oil, basically saying this is America's problem, so let's call it Gulf of America. Maybe they'll clean it up. We'll see what happens. The weird thing about this is when Florida did its response images for the snow day, they actually called it the Gulf of America. I'm not sure anybody picked up on it very much, or they just kind of shook it off. But Florida's already down with Gulf of America. We'll see if other states actually go around with it as well, because no one else in the world is jumping on this trend at the moment. Let's go to our next story. And this is not so much a Trump story, but it's an agenda story. And the headline for story number three happens to be U.S. government reproductive rights resource site goes offline. Now, many things happened yesterday as Donald Trump came into day full day of office with time to catch up on things. One of those was the website reproductiverights.gov, a government website on reproductive rights, going dark, going completely off base. The site was established by Biden in 2022 after the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade to provide resources on abortion rights, birth control, and preventive health services. Since Trump essentially was the cause, the catalyst for overturning Roe versus Wade, he said this is unnecessary and got rid of it. It was managed by Department of Health and Human Services, managing all sites on health and human services, including reproductive rights. But because of sweeping executive orders and basically the Trump agenda, it's now gone. Now, many other websites have done similar things for the government, including taking away the Spanish translation from many federal websites because we speak English, I guess. Essentially, ignoring other people that may need the resources will basically make them go away, I guess. I guess. You can still actually get the resources by going to reproductiverights.org, which is a private site, if you will, because it's .org instead of .gov, but it's there. So you can still get some of those resources that are still there. It just is no longer sponsored by any sort of government backing website. This is the part where we pause. A quick break from the news that we're covering. So 4 stories down, 4 stories to go. We wanna ask you right now to help us grow, and we're doing this for you. So it's a bit of a tease, so you can stick around for the second half of the show. Grow our platform. We need you to like, share, and subscribe to the work we're doing. Now we offer up this particular video and this audio as a clip of the audio of the video, basically a clip of the audio in full form. It comes out on YouTube, comes out on X, comes out on Facebook, and in various podcatchers going forward. We also have clips of things, clips from either here or news clips we do record specifically that come out on TikTok, on YouTube, YouTube Shorts, various places as well. And we need your help to watch and see and do things. So to get more folks in our queue, so we have more people watching and growing our platform, like, share, and subscribe. Like the videos and audios that you like to see so that more people like to see it. And I also know that it's things that are working well, things that are getting awesome for you guys. Share it with like people who you know would enjoy the stuff and see how they agree with it or disagree and have them like it as well if they can. And if you're not subscribed to us and get this in your feed or get a notification for us when we go live or when we put out our content, subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Grow the base. Grow what's going on. Also, stop by YouTube. If you're watching YouTube, to be a member. That's a subscription as well. Make sure you can see us there. Make sure you like us when we're doing well. Make sure we make the algorithm know that we're likable, we're lovable, we're great stuff, and help us grow the platform. Shrinking the government by eliminating some roles that don't really fit the agenda. Trump started a very late night, early morning yesterday with some Truth Social posts basically firing a bunch of folks. Two people very, very, very prominent in the list, Chef Jose Andres and General Mike Milley. Now, happening literally midnight, right after midnight on the 21st, Donald Trump announced via Truth Social dismissal of over 1,000 appointees that were previous administration put in there. Basically, all the people Biden put in there were all gone, like effectively thin, including retired General Mark Milley and Chef Jose Andreas. Now, Milley, former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and Milley served as National Infrastructure Advisory Council currently. His removal aligns with Trump's efforts to replace officials he perceives as disloyal. Milley worked for Trump. Milley said things bad about Trump. Milley said things bad about Trump, especially when Trump was gone. He gone now. Also, Chef Jose Andreas, renowned chef and vegetarian, was a member of the President's Council for Sports, Fitness, and Nutrition. He responded to dismissal by pointing out that the term had already been done and basically said he was working toward bipartisan collaboration on other things anyway, because that's what the commission was about. It's the old thing that back in my day, we have to do the fitness test for the President Fitness Council. It's basically the same thing. It's just no real focus on the fitness test because kids don't do gym anymore. This aligns with the broader initiative to bring in more people that are friendly to Trump. It's pretty obvious. I mean, he said the thing. He wants people who are loyal. He wants people who are doing the things they're going for. He uses the drain the swamp term and still using that to basically get rid of people, swamp monsters. Miley may actually be a swamp monster. Andreas, not exactly, but these are people that were embedded into the administration swamp that Joe Biden was rebuilding, I guess. And so these guys now gone. This gal also gone with a caveat because Donald Trump also got rid of Keisha Lance Bottoms. The problem was she resigned like 2 weeks earlier, so she's already gone. But that's no details. Donald Trump is dismissal of Keisha Lance Bottoms for her position, president ex counsel. But she'd actually resigned. She resigned like on the 4th of January because she knew that Trump was coming in on the 20th. She resigned effective immediately, sent a letter to President Biden, and he just accepted it. So, as we said, Trump is trying to remove people that he thinks are disloyal, he thinks are getting away, and of course, in very many positions that he thinks are useless, worthless, or just fodder to get rid of. But he also, just like Andreas, who basically said the term's up, and Bottoms, who said, yeah, you can't fire somebody already quit. These are little small gaps that aren't being picked up by the larger media parts. Yes, that story was in Politico and Black Enterprise, and for Chef Andreas, he talking about not being in council anymore. That also was in Politico as well. So there are people who are going deeper, diving, coming through the information to give you more details what's going on. But the real mainstream, the big ones, MSNBC, Fox News, especially Fox News, not going deep in detail things like this because they have to cover all the things that are happening. There's a lot of things that are happening. DHS is going to end remote work and calls for all employees back to office. Now, the acting Department of Homeland Security, Benjamin Huffman, issued the internal memorandum directing all DHS employees back to right now. No one's to work from home. This is going along with another executive order mandating federal employees resume full-time office attendance. Happened signed. This one was signed, I believe, at the basketball complex before he got to the big signing at the Oval Office. But in the memo, Secretary Huffman emphasized that while remote work has been beneficial during COVID-19 pandemic times, they continue to use decrease productivity and hinder the department's mission. Essentially, if you can't see your buddies, you can't really get this much work done instead of you being there. Nearly 40% of work hours in key agencies were highlighted for folks dealing with cybersecurity infrastructure, infrastructure security agency, perform remotely, but basically unacceptable. Essentially, those folks didn't need to telework; they need to be in the office so that things could be done faster. Like we said, Trump's trying to get everybody back to work, literally back to work, period, in the government. So, as of right now, since he signed into executive order, if you're working remotely, it's trash. There will be some leeway in some cases. There will be some special cases. There'll be whole lot of people who are going on emergency leave or maternity leave type things that will be tied into their actual work lives because they have to work. They want that stuff. But as of now, as an executive order signed 2 days ago, everyone should be back in the office pretty much within weeks. They're going to actually kill all those remote work coming for the national folks. See what happens. And finally, this one has nothing to do with Donald Trump. Well, maybe. Maybe people just wanted to kinda get a release and get some sort of relief from Trumpism for a little bit, so they went to see Moana 2. And that movie now has surpassed $1 billion and showing that Disney is box office dominating everything. Disney, the mouse can't be beat, even if you're making blood and honey horror movies out of some of their properties, which was their original properties. Moana 2 has officially surpassed the $1 billion mark at the global box office, solidifying its status as one of the highest ranking movies pretty much 2024. Achievement underscores Disney's continued dominance of going forward to beating out other things, including having big money with Inside Out 2, which had $1.69 billion worldwide. And of course, it was like the latest one out. So released in the November 27th, when it was no basically a Thanksgiving movie, it continues the journey of Moana, who is adventuring with the demigod Maui, and they are doing more stuff, expanding their roles, if you will, expanding their territories, if you will, across the vast universe that is the Moanaverse, I guess. A cinematic score of A minus, 89% post track reporting, positive overt rating. People are loving Moana 2, and they're loving it by spending lots of money on it. So, big money movie for 2024. Happy note going out of here. Our kicker story for the day. Actually, more of a fun story. Again, it is Moana 2, which Boogaloo, and it is a big grab for cash and for Disney, who likes to grab for now, let's talk about our teaser story right now. Our teaser story is a story that we are teasing, a story that we are going to provide for you fairly soon as we produce this headline. We produce this live in the morning, 5:30 a.m. Central Time, and sometime by the time you see this, by the time you see this, will be out there. But sometime pretty soon after the release of the end of this, we'll have this story being posted. Headline reads: breaking news story for us that's not getting a lot of attention quite yet, but it will over time, over day, when people ask them questions about this. Trump pardons Silk Road founder Ross Ulbricht. Um, you're just gonna have to check out the link and see what's going on with this one because this is a big deal. This is a bigger deal than people understand yet, but we'll have time to dig into this one unless the mainstream does not dig into this one. He was asked yesterday after the press conference about the Stargate, about the pardons. He was asked about another thing he was asked in this forum. I was at the end of it, and he was asked. I don't think he was asked then, but he reported later about him being chastised at the church earlier that morning at the prayer session. There's a whole lot of stuff going on, and we're going to find out what's happening. We're in the find out phase because the F around part is happening. But Trump has pardoned another big time felon, and we'll see what happens with that one. So we can go back to selling nice little stuff on the internet. You want to talk about it? Follow us on our feeds on Facebook and X. Facebook.com/this is conversation project, X.com/TH conversation. And what we do is every 50 minutes or so, we post news articles from various sources. Some of them you might enjoy and love, some of them you might not. The Hill is kind of one of those on the fence. The Hill is owned by um, media companies that owns all the TV stations. I can't think of the name right now. I used to work for them, which is kind of weird. But they're attached to the media companies that attach to News Nation and those broadcast companies. So some people are sort of on the fence in them right now. They're not OAN. They're not them. But we've posted various news stories and links all over the place every 50 minutes or so for you to engage in. The more you engage in stories, that tells me what stories are worthy of chatting up for throughout various bits and pieces. And this thing here for the update that is things you might not have heard. So engage in the stories, like them, love them, hate them, share them, engage them, read them, share them, comment on them, share them, engage in them, do all the things. And then we'll know tomorrow when we open up the books and pull about the 30 stories we'll get. We'll take the top 15, 16, put those for you to enjoy. So I'm sure some of you enjoyed the firing of Keisha Lance Bottoms, or the back talk of Keisha Lance Bottoms, because we are equal opportunity. We take both sides. We like to get stories that will engage both sides, if you will, and the people in the middle, which I happen to be. So, if you want to get engaged in what's going on, engage in the stories we're putting out there. Let us know what stories are out there that need to be talked about. We'll bring up more to them either in this thing here with a quick update or in some longer clips that will go deep in detail on the stories. Now, right now, I want to direct your attention to the chess store. Their address online is accountantspros.com chess store. It's one of our sponsors. It's an affiliate sponsor, and it's one of our longest going sponsors for all of More Bitter Media. So we've been riding with for quite some time, that, in various places that have shut down and came back. They are always here. We're glad they're here. Now, I used to talk a lot more about the chess store as it pertained to personal life, as we did a lot of work with the chess club at our church, amazing chess club, CPR Chess Club. You should search it on online, look for Miss Georgia and all the great work she's doing in the community on that one. Won some big time awards in the city as well. And once she won like a state recognition as well. We don't do as much chess work anymore, so we're volunteering and a little bit. My little JJ is doing other things now. She's in debate, so she's basically just yelling at us all the time. So chess is not the main focus going forward, but chess was a great thing that got her focused in her now going in other activities. Also, student council, where she just yells at the people as well because she has that sort of gene going forward. Chess, it sets a foundation for many folks for thinking, critical learning, and just sort of being patient and understanding that your next three moves are important, but the next three moves of the guy may change those things. So make sure you wait and have a more further, more further than the next three moves. So you may want a chess set to learn some chess going if that's what you want. Or you may want a chess set because it looks nice and people may think you're smart. Nothing wrong with that. Beautiful chess sets can be yours by going to the chess store and using our link. This is conversationproject.com slash the chess store, because it is an affiliate link. So it gives us a little bit of juice, a little bit of action, a little bit of a commission from your buy. So check it out today. Beautiful chess sets made of wood, metal, replicable chess sets from old stuff, and looking, great looking travel sets, not just cheap little things you can carry around. They actually look good. You pull them out in an airport and people are like, wow, that guy's a CEO. That guy's making it happen. He's got a great chess set. And you just might be, the flunky, but they'll think you're CEO level. Chess set. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. But I can guarantee you'll get great service from the chess store, and they'll take good care of you with chess sets and chess accessories. Check them out, as I said, at our website. It's conversationproject.com slash the chess store. It's an affiliate link. So when you use our links, you get a small commission for your buy from the chess store. Plus, you get extra, you get the joy, the love of good chess stuff. Let's remind you of us one more time. The chess store is one of our sponsors, and you can find more of our sponsors by going to our website. This is conversationproject.com. There's a sponsors link. It's a partnership link where you can join up with us and do great things with us together. There are links to past episodes, so you can see all the hijinks in the past, see some of the things we've done on bad days, some on good days, and some of the things we've done that we don't do anymore that you can ask, why don't you do that anymore? And sometimes you'll see why. We don't do the birthdays, we don't do the history lesson because it made things longer. And my goal to make this a more, e- let's say, even-minded, just general news information stuff didn't work. You guys want more Trump stuff, and we got 4 years of Trump stuff. Team content's going to win this bad boy, guaranteed. But find out more about us, the background, what we've done, how we got to where we are, our origin story, plus sponsorships and partnerships and other links as well at the Conversation Project's website. This is conversationproject.com. Now, if you don't deem us worthy of being a partner that is spending your hard-earned dollars every month to help support us, you can do it on the cheap, next to nothing. Follow us on X, follow us on Facebook, follow us there, and make sure you just give us a little bit in a way of engaging in the stories so that we can know what stories to talk about, and that'll work. And you can email me with your comments and concerns via the website, uh, Google, because they provide the email address, the conversation inbox at gmail.com. With all that said, we is done. The Conversation Project is done with this edition of Things You Might Have Heard. I am still Jake Bain in this Wednesday, January 22nd. 2025 is just now beginning for all of us. It is right now hitting 6 o'clock Central Time. So a full head for all of us as I'm doing this live, or maybe you're watching this later in the day and your full day is already done. We're glad you took time to watch this Tuesday recap for Tuesday, regardless. Look for more clips, more stories, more things on news recaps from the day today and other things we interject in as I get time, as I get frustrated, if you will. My dander gets up and we have to kind of talk about something. We'll talk about more stories. They won't all be Trump stuff. We have a lot of Team Trump content because it's going to happen, but we have other things that get out there as well. Moana too, not a Team Trump story, but it's there. So if you enjoy what we're doing, we ask you to like it. We ask you to share it with other like-minded folks, and we ask you to subscribe so you get it in notifications when the time comes to see things. In the meantime, love you guys. Mean it so much. Have a great Wednesday. We've got a long way to go, so we're bringing it back. Make sure you stay hydrated, stay limber, stay on task. We got a long way to go. Love you, mean it. Let's do this again come tomorrow.